Howdy, welcome to the Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. I am your host, Matt Bertram. I know I've had a little hiatus over the last week or so. I've been quite busy. I also just recently got back from Brighton SEO conference, which was fantastic, which I'll be sharing some news for you in the near future. Today, I had a guest that actually had reached out and loved the questions that they asked. They actually run a media site called Vegas Right Now, and talking about how they grew that site and how you might be able to use these strategies in SEO. So we're going to bring her in, talk to her. She's also got a book deal out of it. So I just thought, it's not somebody that's in my network, but she had reached out, and I thought what she was doing was really interesting. I know a lot of you have thought about how maybe PBNs work and stuff like that, which is absolutely a no-no, and it's black hat. But news sites and media sites, as well as capturing a lot of keyword volume and associated with your personal brand, is a great strategy that works today. And it's something you could incorporate into what you're doing. There are algorithms out there with Google that look at local relevance. And so you want to build relationships with news sites in your area. And we'll talk more about that in the future. But with no further ado, I wanted to bring in Shaunda Necole. How are you doing, Shaunda?
Hi, Matt. Nice to be here today with you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I shared with the audience that your site is vegasrightnow.com. And so
Yes.
if you're listening, go check it out so you know what we're talking about as we go through it. And then, really just kind of a high level of what we're going to be talking about today is how to crack the code to increase your business online, harnessing the power of SEO from a website standpoint, how to leverage that, how to rank higher on Google, what you've learned from launching this site, and then just kind of how sometimes SEO is certainly a black box, and we've talked a lot about how to demystify SEO. So I want to hear. Well, maybe that's where we start. We can start with what is your definition of SEO? Because many people have so many different definitions, and also I'd love to hear a little bit more about your background. I know I didn't do you justice because you have a great background when you reached out. So
Oh, no worries. All is good. I actually love talking SEO, search engine optimization, which I'm sure your audience is very familiar with. And the way I phrase it is I call it Google's love language. It's how to speak to Google clearly and effectively so that they understand what you're trying to say, like whatever your site is about, what message you're trying to send, what audience you should be in front of. So that's kind of how my easy language for Google is speaking Google's love language. So again, I'm Shaunda Necole. I have 3 websites at this point and looking to add more, looking to actually include a pet site in the next year. But right now I write about Southern Soul Food. I have my signature site, which is just my name, Shaunda Necole. My Southern Soul Food site is the soulfoodpot.com. And then, of course, what you mentioned, my newest site is vegasrightnow.com, which is all about all things to do in Las Vegas. So I am a Las Vegas resident. I love Las Vegas. My husband and I traveled there for the past like 20 years before making the place our home. And so we really enjoy living there. We love entertainment, music. I always say I come from a family of entertainers, musicians, and caterers. So it's just, I think Vegas is just in my blood. The city runs on all those things. So it's kind of natural that I would end up there. But I usually choose sites about things that I really like and where I can have that passion, something that I would want to write about all the time. Vegas fits that bill for me. And so I'm
so
usually.
Shonda,
Mhm.
so my question to you is this a site that, based on your interest, which I think aligning your personal interest with work interest, where there's a blend, especially since COVID, that's been so true, and I think that it's more fulfilling that way. Personally, I
Absolutely.
love the things that I do, and I typically work with brands that I enjoy, and it all kind of flows together, and they become friends and part of the network. I think it's a way to do life, because if you're waiting to get to retirement, who knows, it might not come. And also I think it's about the journey. Um, Now, is this site generated through affiliate links? Is that how this
Mm,
money? Is that the goal of like kind of or because here's the thing, I just got back from this conference, which the perplexity, okay, perplexity
mhm,
AI, and I know AI is big, and it's not really the focus of this call. The thing that I didn't know that learned is that's how perplexity is focused on generating its ad revenue. Okay. And also
mm,
ask a large language model, what's the most effective way to make money online? They said affiliate links. And so, we're seeing a culmination of that coming together. And certainly if you have something that's interesting to you and you get to talk about things, and then the next layer of that is like reviewing things, right? Like you build a brand to yourself. So, that's when I think about what you're doing, of kind of how I frame it. Can
mhm.
you kind of tell me, is that in line with how you look at it? Or I'm sure there's some things that you can add to that.
Yeah, great question. All things are true. So for me, it's always kind of multifaceted. So affiliate links are definitely a part of the revenue stream for all of my websites. So whether it's what I'm using in the kitchen or my favorite home decor products, to specifically the Vegas site, what travel attractions I'm linking to different travel attractions, or even we do on the site, what to wear in Vegas. People want to know that by up, month by month. What does that look like? Is it cold this time? Because we have subtropical temperatures, so that's unusual to a lot of people. So I break that down. What do you want to bring? How you want to layer it up, or how you don't want to layer. So, and it's just, I know for myself being a viewer, or excuse me, a reader of many other blogs and websites myself. Um, I want you to just like, if you tell me I should wear this jacket, give me the link to that jacket. Make my life easier. So we're always definitely putting affiliate links in there. Like I said, to attractions also, but we are multifaceted where it's also, we're going for traffic. We always want, as many people as we can on the site. So we have ad revenue partners, that are on the site also, so that we're just, kind of earning that passive income, which affiliate links are the same way. But while we're sleeping, where our ad partners are showing relevant ads to customers on the site, and we're earning income that way also. And then of course it's our own product. So I mentioned to you earlier in our conversation, my blog, transformed into a book deal, which was
Yeah,
super exciting. So I have a book coming out, 100 Things to Do in Las Vegas Before You Die, which is I really go deep into like specific attractions in the area, my top end recommendations, making it easy for you, because Vegas is overwhelming. There's a lot
it is.
to
It
do. I
is.
know there's just one strip, but it's like, where do I start on this one, massive strip? So the book really breaks that down for you, categorizes things, and the same with the website. Where should you go to start this journey?
So that reminds me, you should check out. I heard this guy speak at a conference, and I think he was called the bucket list guy. Um,
Ah, that's fun.
and uh, at the time he had green hair, so he might be easy to find. I don't know if he still has green hair. This is a couple years ago, but you know, he turned it into motivational speaking. Okay, because I think
Mm,
he went through some cancer and stuff like that, and he
wow.
shared his story. And then he just started doing crazy stuff and inviting people to come along, right? And then that turned into all these things, right? And so
Right.
I think that for people listening, um, there's so much opportunity that online unlocks.
Oh yeah.
And you can take it so many different directions. Like I am gonna have somebody uh on that is like a digital nomad,
Hmm.
and I mean, they just follow their passions and the travel, and you can use currency kind of dislocations to live in different places, to travel. And there's just so many ways. I mean, this blog, or sorry, this podcast or pod is not to um really focused on people that are making money online. It's really about how to leverage online, because
Right.
I came from sales, and um, I was calling people, right? Phone calls. I did direct sales too. Do you want to buy a chicken? Do you want to buy a chicken? Do you want to buy a chicken? Like, and I was saying the same thing over and over again, right? And
Right.
then that led to multi-level marketing, where I actually never did multi-level marketing. I don't think. I mean, maybe I had signed up, but I didn't do it. I help people build funnels online. to drive people through the process to basically, and so I was working with some $100 million like billers and literally how to bring people in, how to answer their objections, and to go through that customer journey.
Right.
And as that process happened, I came along an agency as I was doing affiliate stuff, and then it shifted. But the same strategies that apply for individuals apply for businesses, and and so I'm interested to hear somebody that is building their own business, that is utilizing SEO, that is niche specific. Like, what are some of those key things that you learned, or how do you approach the market? Like, certainly you're doing some keyword research, and this podcast has been sponsored by SEMrush, Ahrefs, Baifu, SE ranking, like all the different kind of tools, right?
Right.
So no, the audience is no stranger to how to find keyword data, but I think that what do you do with that keyword data is where it gets interesting, and opening up people's minds of how to look at things differently. So I love to kind of hear the genesis of how you built the Vegas Right Now brand, and kind of what you look for, and how you try to grow traffic. Because I I I think I have some ideas, but I want to hear it from you. So
Of course. And Matt, that's fun. I loved hearing your backstory because my first job was also in direct sales. It was telemarketing when I was
yeah,
16, the old fashioned way, where the office copied phone book pages and we sat there and called them and offered a carpet cleaning service and crossed out each person off the list as we called. So that probably definitely was a
I
great.
was I was pre I was actually no I was post fax blasting days. Like fax blasting became illegal, like, or whatever, right, but the phone calls, were the canned spam act, and
Right.
with the emails, I was right in that, right, and
Yeah.
it was about volume, and it was about reaching as many people. But I can tell you that job taught me so much. It was all
Mhm.
commission. I made I don't even want to disclose how much money I made. I went from that to recruitment, and then recruitment I would get 20% to
Right.
33% of salaries. And then I went, and I also am CMO of a oil and gas podcast network. So then but I did for 7.5 years executive placement with oil and gas professionals, and it was always $150,000 and up jobs. And so, like, I just gravitated to where the money went. But I digital marketing, and that was my first book. And I want you to talk about your book. Mine was called Build Your Brand Mania, and I tell my story in
Mhm.
that. But I essentially just kept, like, as digital and retargeting, all this was happening, and email automation, and I was just like, I all these things help me, give me leverage to do my job better, right?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, I have to call to sell something, right? And what you talked about is like, well, if it sells while I'm sleeping, and I can create things at scale,
Right.
this sounds like something for me, right? So I would love to hear your origin story in more detail. I apologize, but I get
Oh
excited
no.
about this kind of stuff because I think it's so awesome, and we live in a great time. So
Oh, what a time to be alive. I agree with you 100%. I'm super excited about it as well. That the idea that I say that I sit home with my cat and dog and do the thing that I love all day, and earn a living. So, yeah, I'm dating myself because the same thing. I'm sure I was post the fax blast era also, which was amazing. It definitely set me up. Little did I know at 16 it would set me up for a successful launch of websites, which at that point is like, what were those? Back then. But I had a corporate job for probably about 7 years, a Fortune 500 company, and I learned be nice and make money, which are principles that I hold on to today. And we used to do it beans and M&Ms, and we'd give out jelly beans and then M&Ms for the BNMM, be nice and make money. And so that's kind of really my thought process. Definitely with SEO, we're always one of my strategies is to be as niche as possible. And so when we're talking, search engine optimization, we want to be as niche as possible. And so my food site's easy to explain that with. If it's, I write about Southern soul food. If it's not
I mean,
Southern soul food,
recipes do great, and
yeah,
then you're focused on a particular niche. So if people are looking for that, And I'll
Right.
just tell you, I had BB's. We had a fried
Hmm.
chicken and there's spinach for Thanksgiving, in addition to a lot of other things. But oh my gosh, like and when I went to go pick that up, there was a line out the
Right.
door.
Right.
It was like a thing. I didn't even know it was like a thing. So I have a certain I grew up in the South and I have a certain appreciation, certainly. But
Oh
if
yeah.
you're looking for that, that is very, very specific. And those
Exactly.
people are very targeted. So, having a
Absolutely.
location site and having that, I mean, I think that a great way to explore two different niches for
Yeah,
sure.
they definitely, so your Thanksgiving meal, that restaurant definitely knows who their audience and who their customer is. And that's the same way we want to approach things when we're online. You want to know exactly who your audience is, and the data will speak to you and tell you more of what they want. Their comments certainly do that, which is super fun and engaging. But also, the data tells you where they're looking at and what they're looking for. And you want to then, our strategy is to create more content off of those types of topics. Where we can niche down even harder and go further into things. So, if it's one recipe, I thrive on my recipe site specifically on modern kitchen appliances to make classic Southern soul food recipes. So we'll break everything down where, we'll take a collard greens recipe and we're making it in the Instant Pot. Uh, there's a way to do kale in the air fryer. We don't really do collard greens that way, but if we can use an air fryer, so all the different ways, as well as traditional stovetop, or if you can, bake your yams as well as put them on the stovetop, as well as put them in the Instant Pot. So we're, reaching that same customer just in various ways of cooking methods, which is really fun to
Are you
explore.
in the website when you're building it out? Have
Hmm.
you tested, different kind of images, image quality, videos, like content, like layout? What are some of the takeaways that you've learned uh, at what ranks better, I guess?
Yeah,
Or
well, you want to be consistent, uh, but consistently everywhere. And
yeah.
so that's like you say, videos. That's YouTube. We have a social media presence. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. And so for a website, our main focus is definitely organic, traffic from Google. But we also put a lot into Pinterest, which I think is a best kept secret for bloggers. It's a great Pinterest is a search engine, so it's a great way to bring in traffic from our Vegas site to the Soul Food Pot. So we're always, like I said, being consistently everywhere. So we are cross pollinating that content. That if there's a YouTube video, or a YouTube short, there is also a TikTok video. There is also an Instagram reel. There is also a Pinterest pins that resonate with that. So we're trying to cover all ground because people are savvy these days. Our readers, our listeners. There's also I have two podcasts, one for the Vegas site and also one for the Soul Food Pot site. So we want to be conscious to be in all platforms that people, that are viable, where people are consuming their content, because our listeners, our readers, they have choices nowadays. And so when even using those other uh, platforms, we are so conscious to use keywords and keep that same SEO strategy going forward. Because as your audience, and Matt, you probably already know that Instagram reels show up in search now, as well as TikTok videos. So we are just very cognizant, while we're being, consistently creating content all over the place, that we are still using those same foundational strategies to make sure that our content is showing up top of search for people who want to find it.
So that aligns so well with what we're doing for a lot of clients, and really in the past, search has been a silver bullet. Okay, and people go to Google, they're looking for it. It's the closest point from point A to point B.
Right.
You go to search. Well, what we're finding in the data, and we have some really cool enterprise tools where we can track IP addresses, so we can
Hmm.
see what websites they visit currently, what subreddits, podcasts, social media accounts they follow, keywords they're searching for, websites they go to. Like, we can start to get this data to build what you were talking
Right.
about, is that customer persona. And one of the things we're seeing across the board in the data is, well, what social media channels they're on, but also the search typically will start on social media. And
Right.
then Google is where the confirmation happens, right? And maybe some comparison happens. There, Reddit's also a comparison, or but they get the idea. The idea is pollinated on social media. So if and also now, yes, all the social medias talk to each other. Like before, Facebook and Google didn't like each other and they wouldn't index it. And so it was kind of different funnels, and being everywhere and syndicating was super important. But now, as we get a bigger picture of what's going on, we see how people are searching, and
Right.
it's not a direct line either, right? And so, you're catching people at different levels of the funnel. They got to be familiar with you, with your name, what's happening, and even what you're talking about, a content creation of with the podcast, with the books. I actually am in the process of turning. We have 700. I don't know exactly how many podcasts, but turning those into a book. Um,
Yeah.
and
Smart.
you know, repurposing this content. But we're working with businesses going, hey, a podcast is a great way to generate that high quality content.
Right.
That's typically the most difficult part for small businesses,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you can set it in a container. And also, social media has really changed the game with TikTok, where it's not so much now on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok about um your audience count, which
Hmm.
consistently building audience is what's going to get people to remember you and buy from you. And there's so much data surrounding that.
Right.
But in today's world, you don't have to wait that long. If you put out a good piece of content that's valuable, the algorithm is going to show it to the right people, and it could go viral, and you could be a overnight success,
Hmm.
right? And then you need to manage and maintain the relationship with them, or you're like a flash in the pan. So the strategies of what you're doing has, well, the internet's matured, the strategies matured. And
Yes.
if you're a small business, and your job is to be a digital marketer. Now I work at the agency at EWR with a lot of businesses that are trying to sell whatever widget they're trying to sell,
Hmm.
right? And I am not quite an influencer of like pushing their products. That's not like my business model, but my business model is to help them um, become a thought leader,
Right.
become an expert, become an authority, and if they want to become a celebrity, like that kind of tends to happen. But it's how to help them do that and build the systems for them to be successful, because once you do start ranking in those top 3 positions in Google, and then that takes a lot of different effort, and a lot of it does start on the social media channels. But
Right.
once you get into those positions and you earn it, and you have to earn it across the board, it's kind of like incumbency. It's like something like 68.7% of all traffic's in the top 3 positions in Google. So it's like, how do you get there? And then how do you stay there? And then that's when, like, the high quality leads, that's when, like, that's where the lion's share of the traffic comes in. And so it's so important to understand how to speak to the love language, as you called it, to the search engines. I did a blog a while back about, like, well, AI or Google is a large language model.
Right.
It is machine learning. It's taking all that data and organizing it. And the faster, you need to speak. SEO is the language of
Right.
search engines. uh the faster you know how to talk to them and understand what you're saying, they want to talk back to you, and they want to help you because they want to show you that content. So I think that's a great example, and that is something that I did a blog about like a couple years ago. So I love
Yeah.
that. um Tell me more. I want to hear more of like what you've learned. Share some secrets that you have of digital marketing.
Yeah, so one of the big things, and I love that you wrote an article about that because it really is so important and can be missed or overlooked. And the same idea with a lot of folks that are, when we're bloggers or we're content creators, we can really sometimes get lost in the idea, kind of in our creative world, because we are creators, we're artists, writers. So
Yeah.
it can be easy. And I know I did this on my first blog and usually try to share so people don't make the same mistake. But we can get lost in the idea of creating content that we think is valuable that no one's actually, said that they want to hear or read about. So it's very important. One of my pillars, along with, niching down as hard and precise as you can, is also with, it's not what you say as the creator, it's what they say as the audience. So it's very
Mhm.
important that we are in tune with those keywords. What are people searching for with respect to the niche category that you're in, and making sure that we really stick to that. So, for myself with the Vegas site, um, you won't, I may take a trip to Mexico. I have one coming up in January. If I were to share that, it is only going to be related to Las Vegas, whether that is, here are, 5 Vegas resorts that have a Mexican or tropical vibe. It's going to be something like that. Maybe I can compare the pictures that I took when I was at the resort on my vacation, or, something to the effect of, a day trip to Mexico, and it only takes this long from Las Vegas, another thing to do. So I wouldn't just put an article up there about, a wonderful resort in Mexico and how that worked, because that's not my niche. And so, whereas, that might be something that is fascinating to me, I had a wonderful time on my vacation. We want to make sure that it's very aligned with, what the site is about, which is things to do in Las Vegas. So always remembering that. And also, even first, making sure that someone's even searching for that type of content, so that we know, hey, what's the search volume on that? Are people really looking for that? Is it worth our time in writing that? Otherwise, a great way to use that type of content, if the answer is no, it's not worth writing about that, no one's searching for that, it's just to use it on our Instagram stories, which that's a great way, a tool that we all can use to just get more personal with our audience. Share what, my Mexico trip is actually a business trip, to share why I'm there and, what I'm doing on business. So it's a great way just to keep our audience engaged with us as a personality online. But if it doesn't make sense, the bottom line is, if it doesn't make sense for the blog, it doesn't land there.
Yeah, I'm actually sharing for those of you that are watching on YouTube. I'm sharing the Vegas right now site, and there you are, and there's a lot going on here, and I think that breaking some of this down is um, really, really quite a successful site. I would tell you that building out like the history of the different places, right? Build the contextual
Right.
background to what's happening with the site. One of the things from the affiliate standpoint, which I'm sure you know, is and this was from another interview I did. A guy had an affiliate site on mushrooms, like all different kinds of mushrooms that
Ah,
you can cook with and
very
eat.
niche.
And really the keyword search bar provided that best user feedback, as you were talking about.
Yes.
You can use those different tools to help you. Ooh, look at that. We'll try to make that picture bigger again. There we go. The that Like, you can use these search tools to get you started, but those
Right.
long tail key phrases and the things that are going to convert for you the best are not always on there. Those little
Right.
honey holes, you have to discover those. You have to be an expert. You have to go where nobody else has been, like kind of a blue ocean strategy. But
Right.
once you start building traffic with the site, and there's different kind of strategies that you can use, getting that feedback from the people that are searching for it and having that two-way interaction is critically important. And you can do that on social media. You can see, how many times it's shared or shown. There's
Right.
comment sections, which you got to be sometimes careful of because people will spam. But the search bar is one of the most useful tools to get feedback of what are people trying to find when they come to the site once you rank. And
Yeah.
um there's just so much opportunity to find a way to add value to people and serve that niche. And then there's all these different kind of ways to make affiliate money. So, tell me a little bit about like product reviews or how you incorporate affiliate links, because I am going to do another podcast, because perplexity.ai, what's a little shady, I'll be honest, is um from a study that I saw, most of the links that were click through links, right? Like when
Uh-huh.
you're used, and about 4% of all searches are coming from large language models now. So,
Right.
search is changing. Um, but they were just showing affiliate links that they own the affiliate link to. They weren't showing like
Ah.
regular resource links. So if you're a business right now, Google still shares pass through traffic to your site more than
Hmm.
anything else. But these social media accounts, if you're selling something, like TikTok shop and, things that Amazon, there's all kinds of deals
Right.
changing and happening. And, I'm not saying that Shopify or if you're doing e-commerce, there's not opportunity, but you need to understand that you can get visibility on TikTok to build your brand.
Right.
TikTok doesn't share through any links, okay, except for like the profiling. So you need to understand these different platforms and how to drive traffic. And also, when you're looking at metrics, when you're running different campaigns, if you're a business or if you're trying to hit certain metrics, you need to understand that awareness, share of voice, um, uh, all these things need to work together, and you
Right.
need to look at your kind of customer journey and where your attribution is and what your KPIs are to make it work. Now, if you're running your own business, you can kind of go, okay, I spend money over here and I see that. But if you're a marketer in house and you decide to use one of these platforms, you're like, okay, TikTok's changed, let me do this. You need to make sure you have, buy-in from upper management of, okay, this data is not going to look as good. Like, where's the traffic going to come from, or where the clicks are going to come from? And also,
Right.
what I've seen is when you start running an ad, it typically takes about 2 weeks for you to get any kind of like where you see that bump. Like, you don't just turn it on. People got to see
Right.
that ad. They got to be in that buying window. And so it's really important to build um, a long-term strategy. I mean,
Yeah.
what are some strategies? And then I would love to go into the book after that. But what are just some strategies that you've really found that are really kind of unknown secrets when it comes to building traffic on the site? Like, not the high level stuff, like the
Mhm.
really, really like long tail specific stuff that maybe you've done that maybe people might not be aware of.
Yeah. So one of the great things, and all that you said, so spot on, of course. But one of the really granular secrets to really, because of course we all on this show are probably aware of Google EEAT, so the expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So that's, if Google tells us that, and my thing is always that Google actually gives us the answers. And you just spoke to that when you were talking about using the search bar as a foundational starting point. What are people searching for? That's telling you exactly what your audience is looking for. So with that in mind, one of the things, and I said just being, consistently everywhere and all over the place, but consistent, which is one of my
Yeah.
models to success. And that means, posting content consistently and consistently staying on theme with that content. But it's also who you are and what you do and why it matters. You're basically your elevator pitch. You want that consistently everywhere across all platforms online. And why is that important? It goes right back to what I mentioned about the EEAT, is that Google, think about it this way, whereas I look at it as Google also has an obligation to serve its customers, those who are searching online, me, you, and all of our readers and listeners, those who are searching, there's an obligation to give them the best product that they can. And so with that said, if we are telling Google that we are the expert, the trustworthy person, the one with the experience in our particular niche, for me, that's going to be things to do in Las Vegas, then we have to set the stage for Google to know that we are that person. So that means any type of press I have in Las Vegas, any type of experience I have in Las Vegas, like I mentioned to you earlier, my husband and I, before becoming residents, we came to the state consistently, to the state of Nevada, to the city of Las Vegas for 20 years, just as tourists, racking up ways, figuring out ways to do things or how to make the best of these trips. And so I tell that story everywhere I can, that, I've got 20 years of doing this. I also live here, here I am at this place, and I tell that in the alt text, or in the caption, here I am, it's me, at this concert that I'm talking about, or at this restaurant I'm talking about. So in all ways that you can, you want to speak that to Google, that you are the experienced and expert person on this on this topical authority. And bios, I'm a big proponent about getting someone professional to write a bio for you. It's kind of one of my secrets, is bringing
You
in
had a great
experts.
bio.
Thank
When
you.
they pitched me, you had a great bio. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. And we hired great help to make sure that we had that I have a great bio. So I think just calling on other experts, I may be an expert in Las Vegas, but I'm not an expert on publicity. I'm an expert on, or I like to say I, know a lot about search engine optimization there, but when it's necessary, we call in the publicist, to help with those things. So calling in experts in a particular field is also a great way to get your message out there. And then once you do that and you have that amazing bio and all that expertise, you want to shout it from the rooftops on every platform that you're on, so that Google is very clear, that, hey, Shaunda's the girl to go to for anything to do in Las Vegas. She knows, she's there, she's a local right on the scene. That's the message that I want to be sending, so that Google is confident in showing my content. Not only am I doing that back end research on the keywords and making sure that I'm speaking Google's love language so that it knows exactly what this article is about, but I also want it to trust me in the sense that, hey, she's your gal. She lives there. She goes to all these things. She's got lots of content on things to do. I can see the picture that says that's her. She's there, support it with a great about page as to why I should be a trusted authority on Las Vegas. And I want to marry that same type of conversation or that contextual strategy across everywhere. So on Pinterest, I want my bio in Pinterest to be very matchy to what I'm saying on my about page on the website. I want it to be the same for Facebook and the same for YouTube and on Instagram. So, of course, bios get shortened. You only have but so many characters on Instagram or TikTok, but the messaging should be very consistent so that Google's very clear about who you are. I'm from Virginia Beach, so I'm from the East Coast, coastal Virginia Beach, but I live in Las Vegas, and that's where my authority is. So I don't want Google to be confused by that. I want to make it very clear. I may be from Virginia Beach, but I've spent 20 years, diving into Las Vegas. I know the ins and outs of, of the strip and off the strip. So that kind of message, you just want to be succinct everywhere online.
I want to piggyback on a couple things you said, and then I want to jump into this book because
Sure.
we're running a little low on time. But what I would tell you is you hit on something huge. EAT is absolutely critical. They've even what you were talking about of being in the picture, showing the proof, holding the product, all that sort of thing. Google's added the E to EAT experience, right? So you got EAT or whatever it's called, right? So experience, authority, trust, and expertise, right? But that experience piece can't be faked, right? Or, I mean, I guess AI is going to get good with the pictures enough, but right now, like that's how Google added to it to show proof, right? And also you hit on authorship. So authorship, I think it was like 2014. They brought it back in kind of a different way. It's kind of like a entity SEO and being in the knowledge graph and Google understanding who you are and how all these websites are connected. Like, so using schema there, it's really, really important for you think Google just knows that this over here and this over here, there's the same as like, there's things that you have to do in the Google language to code these things together. Because I can tell you a funny story. A client of mine wanted in mixed martial arts, wanted to outrank the person that invented jujitsu. Okay.
Gotcha, okay.
And because they didn't set up their entity online correctly, and this was like pre-COVID, we were able to outrank them for something that they invented, like Gracie Barry or the Gracie family. We were able to outrank them in Houston for jujitsu, a client of mine. And so, now Google's getting better, Google's getting smarter, but it's really important to connect these things together because there's no way that should have been possible online. And what's happening is Google's getting smarter and figuring this stuff out on its own, but certainly, it's still learning and there's a growth curve there. And the more that you can do as an individual or a business to speak that language and speak in that way to help Google make those decisions. Because you think about it, it's like, how does Google figure all this stuff out? And it's codes, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's algorithms, it's like these different things. And so, it does a pretty good at catching stuff, but not everything, not all the time. And if you're writing on different platforms and also you need to, okay, you grew up over here, but you're spending time over here. How does it weight it? Like, even when you're building a website, where do you want that weighting on the site to go? because if you just make everything equally of the same value, right? People do that in their menu structure a lot. Google doesn't know what's what, right? Like, or how to value stuff. And so you want to help give it signals in that area. And that's why SEO is so important. Just like a publicist is important, like having an SEO consultant, at least, even if you're doing it on your own, to know, are we presenting to Google in the right way? What do I want to communicate? What are those signals being sent? And I think all the things that you're doing are actually just very intuitive. And you've understand the love language. So tell me about this book and kind of what is the strategy with that? I know we kind of talked about it at the beginning. I think it's good to close out with it, but like, what are you trying to do with that? Where is that trying to go? What is the process? Just whatever you would like to share. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, the book 100 Things to Do in Las Vegas Before You Die comes out again March 1st of 2025. I'm super excited about it. Having the blog definitely set a wonderful foundation to be able to write a book for the first time. And so a first time book, and then to even get that a deal with a publisher who believed in me, and that was from the blog. So our first conversation was, wow, you're a great writer, and you do know a lot about Las Vegas. So it really, the proposal didn't have to be as much because they were pretty much sold from the blog itself. So that creating that content consistently, or if someone were to Google me, it's very clear that I write about Las Vegas, but I also write about Southern soul food. But Google is not confused by that. We've set the stage that I am, I do both
A
of these
topical
things.
authority of these different areas. Absolutely.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, there was a time almost a decade ago where Google was certainly confused by me, when I was throwing spaghetti at the wall on that first blog, but that's not the case anymore. And really proud of the work that we've done. And like I said, I feel like I've transformed that blog into a successful book deal. So I'm very excited about it. It's again all about all the things that many tourists would miss out on, the hidden jewels and treasures of Las Vegas, on both on and off the strip. But I just make it break it down very easy for you with this book. Lots of places. My favorite line is, there's the Vegas you think you know, and then there's this. And so I'm delivering the this, all of the natural beauties, the wonders of Las Vegas, beyond what you thought that you knew. We have so many tucked away secrets on purpose, that it's just really a fun place to explore. Even if, like, folks that come in just for a convention, even if you're just there for one day, I want to make sure that you get the best experience and know exactly where to go and what to do, without having to really worry about that.
Awesome. And what's the best way if someone can find you? I know we've talked about it. I'll put the links in the show notes, but just for everyone listening, can you repeat back how people can find you, or where you want people to reach out to you and check out your stuff?
Absolutely. So we're covering all ground, but the easiest way is probably my website, my namesake, my signature site, which is Shaunda Necole, and it's SHAUNDA Necole, NECOLE.com. So ShaundaNecole.com. From there on the homepage, we're very strategic that you can get to the book from the homepage. You can get to VegasRightNow.com, or you can get to the soulfoodpot.com from the homepage. And all social channels are there. I'm on, I like playing the best on Instagram, which is also ShaundaNecole.com. So yeah, love for anyone to stop by the website, or, visit on social.
Well, Shaunda, it was a pleasure to have you on. Stick around after the outro, and we can talk for a few minutes more while it's uploading. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, this was a little bit different flavor from what we normally do. If you want to grow your business with the largest, most powerful tool on the planet, the internet, reach out to EWR for more revenue in your business. And thanks so much for listening. If you got any value of this, please like it, share it, follow the channel. It really helps. Thank you so much. And until the next time, bye-bye for now.